All right, welcome to the examples video for our rate and unit rate lesson for today, Thursday, March 26th. So you're going to start on page 13. You have to do the must, at least the must, from 13, 14, 15, and 16. So that's 4 pages of math today. You must at least complete the must. But please feel free to do the should and the could. These are really interesting questions. They're going to make you think a little bit harder about kind of the math concepts that you already know, and then also kind of what you know about the world as well. And this is where math starts to get a little bit more interesting, I think. So let's talk about page 13. Your must is number 1 to 11. So let's talk about number 1. Don't forget to write, I've already written down page 15. But don't forget to write down what page you're working on. Number 1. So, I have 240 kilometers in 3 hours, and I have to figure out how many kilometers in 1 hour. Now, you can do an outside calculation, 3 into 240, or you can do this in your head, because whenever you have a 0 at the end, think about it this way. If you cover up that 0, now you've got 3 into 24. Look down your 3's till you get to 24. Look to the side. You should see 8. And so write your 8. And then add your 0. So it's not 8, it's 80 kilometers per hour. That's how I want you to write these answers. If you don't want to do this in your head, well then you are going to need to do an outside calculation of 3 into 240, which we already know is 80. All right. I also want you to take a look at number 7. Number 7 has $4.80 for 6 muffins. And you have to figure out how many for 1 muffin by taking your 6 and dividing it into your $4.80. Now again, you can do this in your head, but because there's a decimal in there, let's talk a little bit about dividing with decimals, just in case anybody forgets. So let's talk about it doing an outside calculation. I have 6. I need to divide it into $4.80. So when you're dividing with decimals, take a look. Can you do 6 into 4? No. 4 is too small. So if I move past the decimal, I have to put a decimal in my answer. So now I can do 6 into 48. 6 into 48, we know, goes 8 times with 48. 0 left over. Drop your 0. 6 into 0 is, of course, 0. Anything into 0 is 0. And 0 remainder. So my answer is 80 cents. So, alright, I'm going to have to erase this. So pause the video if you need to write it down, because now I'm erasing it. So 80 cents per muffin. So you are going to have to do some calculations today, because some of these are going to have decimals, some of these are going to be larger numbers than you've been working with so far this week. And so just use your outside calculations, use your multiplication chart, and make sure you know how to do this. If you don't, if you get stuck, ask me for help. I will help you. All right, and let's take a look at number 12 as well. So for number 12, it says, at $10.50 per hour, so that's the unit rate. They give us the unit rate already. How much can be earned in the following amounts of time? So what we're actually doing is we're going to work kind of the opposite way than what we just did. We are going to take the unit rate and turn it into a regular rate, depending on how many hours. So when you're doing questions like this where they tell you what the unit rate is first, write down the unit rate first. So my unit rate is $10.50 per hour equals something, some kind of money for, and the first question asks us for 7.5 hours a day. So what we're going to do is, because we're working from the opposite direction, we're going to be doing the opposite calculation. Instead of dividing, the opposite calculation from dividing is multiplying. So now we're going to be multiplying. So what I want you to do is think about it like we're filling in the blank. So $10.50 per hour equals some amount of money in 7.5 hours. So what I need to do is I need to find my missing amount of money by multiplying the number of hours by the money. So I'm going to take, so instead of dividing, I'm going to multiply now. I'm going to take my 7.5 and multiply it by 10.50. So if you all remember how to do multiplication, we do 10.50. Always put, the bigger number, like the longer number on top. And then 7.5 on the bottom. I do not need to line up the decimals. Don't forget, when you're multiplying, don't need to do that. You're going to add the decimal at the end. All right, so 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 5 is 25. Carry your 2. 5 times 0 is 0, plus the 2 that you carried is 2, and 5 times 1 is 5. I'm moving to the 7, so I put an X so that my answers for 7 will start under the 7 in the same column. 7 times 0 is 0. 7 times 5 is 35. Carry your 3. 7 times 0 is 0, plus the 3 that you carry. 7 times 1 is 7. So now I have my 2 rows of answers, so I'm going to add them up. 0 plus nothing is 0. 5 plus 0 is 5. 2 plus 5 is 7. 5 plus 3 is 8. And 7 plus nothing is 7. Last but not least, don't forget you need to add the decimal. I've got 1, 2, 3 decimal spots in my question. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3 decimal spots in my answer. And here's my answer, $78.75. So you go back to your question, $78.75. So I've taken my unit rate and I've turned it into a regular rate to find out that if I make $10.50 an hour, how much am I going to make if I work 7.5 hours? I will make $78.75. So this is how you're going to be working. A lot of these questions, you're either working from a rate and you're turning it into a unit rate by using division, or they tell you the unit rate and you're turning it into a regular rate by using multiplication. If you have any questions at all on how to do any of the work today, please send me a message.